Hey guys, I'm Eric with American Trucks, and this is my review and installation of the Armor Heavy Duty Front Bumper in black for all 2019 and later Ram 1500 pickup trucks, with the exception of the TRX and Rebel editions. And I think this bumper is really going to appeal to the Ram 1500 owner out there who's looking for more aggressive styling and a clean, simple design that offers rugged off-road protection, higher approach angles, and the ability to add lots of auxiliary lighting down the road. Now, this Armor bumper is made from heavy-duty 11-gauge steel in a durable black finish. It also has an E-coat undercoating that's going to give added protection against weathering and corrosion. This kit includes heavy-duty mounting brackets that are going to keep this bumper securely mounted to your truck's frame. Now, what I like about this bumper is not only is it a very clean design with an aggressive look, it's also very smart in how they designed the modular aspect to these mesh screens. Each one of these is removable, so you can come up with dozens of lighting configurations, whether you're going to put in longer LED light bars or cube lights. It's very versatile with lots of options for auxiliary lighting. Now, with all the options for the auxiliary lighting, you also have the option of mounting auxiliary lights up top. If you like the look of these mesh screens, you can leave those intact, and of course with that design you're going to get increased airflow through the mesh screen into your radiator and engine compartment. Now, if you're looking for a bumper that can accommodate a winch, I would encourage you to check out the rest of our lineup here at AmericanTrucks.com. But of course, those bumpers are going to come in at a much higher price tag. But with this bumper, you're looking at right around $850. And that's a more affordable option considering some of the other bumpers that are available out there that offer this level of protection, solid construction, and the ability to add all the auxiliary off-road lighting. As for the installation, guys, I'm giving this a real basic 2 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Nothing overly challenging, but with all these little mesh screens, you have a lot of hardware to install, and that's going to add a little bit of time to your installation. But again, nothing overly challenging. With some basic hand tools and help from a friend, you should have no problem getting this installed around 3 hours. All right guys, the tools we're going to use for this installation include an electric impact wrench, a flathead screwdriver, 10, 12, 16, and 18 millimeter wrenches, a 10 millimeter ratcheting wrench, 16 and 18 millimeter ratcheting wrenches, a 3/8 inch socket wrench, a 1/4 inch socket wrench, 8 millimeter, 13 millimeter, 16 millimeter, and 18 millimeter deep well impact sockets, a 4 millimeter Allen key socket, an 8 millimeter socket, and a pneumatic impact wrench. Okay guys, as you can see, we're at the stage of our first step of the uninstall of our stock bumper. As you can see, we have the truck on the ground and I have the tire turned all the way to the left. We're going to access 3 bolts right here that are holding in a trim piece behind the bumper using an 8 millimeter socket. And then there are 2 more bolts closer to the engine and the frame rail, also use an 8 millimeter socket. We're just going to loosen those, and that should enable us to get this plastic panel out. All right, I'm going to use my smallest socket wrench here. We're just going to take out these outer ones first. For these 2 innermost ones, I'm just going to use my electric driver with a little bit of a deep well socket on there just for a better reach. You could also do this from the underside using a creeper, but for the sake of the video shot, I'm going to use this tool from up here. I'm just backing those out. As you can see, you can pop the panel up like that, and it comes right out. Okay guys, the next step to taking our stock bumper off is I'm going to disconnect the factory wiring harness. This truck has factory fog lights, so I'm simply going to pull out this red locking tab. That's going to allow me to pull this out. You can see that popped off of our frame rail, but as long as that's out of our way, we can move on to the next step. Okay guys, so in order to get the bumper off, after we loosen the frame rail bolts, the bumper's going to slide forward a little bit. So just to make sure we don't damage this trim piece right here, we're going to take it off. And to do that, we're going to start with these 8 millimeter bolts right here. Okay, with those two bolts removed, you should be able to just simply pop these out. Okay, to keep going forward to getting your stock bumper off, we're just going to repeat the same process you just watched on the passenger side. The only thing is you're not going to have that factory wiring harness to disconnect on the passenger side. Otherwise, the steps are the same. Okay guys, so to begin the removal process off the frame rail, you've got 3 bolts per side that are holding this bumper to the frame rail. So we're going to have to take off a nut here, and then one to the inside using an 18mm socket or wrench. Okay guys, and just for safety's sake, on this last bolt on this side, I'm going to use a ratcheting wrench and I'm going to back it out and loosen it a little bit, but I'm going to leave it on just so the bumper stays secure and doesn't fall off on me. And we can repeat the process on the passenger side. It's the same configuration. You have 3 bolts holding the bumper to the frame rail. All right, now that we've removed the 6 nuts that are holding the bumper to the frame rail, we're going to go ahead and take that off right now. Okay guys, as you can see, we have the bumper set up for a good old side-by-side comparison. I think the first thing you're really going to notice is that your Armor bumper is a lot shorter from top to bottom, and that's where you're going to get that added ground clearance and ability to go over obstacles out on the trails. The other thing I really like about this bumper is that it's very configurable for auxiliary lighting. You've got these square openings on the ends where you can put in cube lights, and then you have this long rectangular area that you actually get 3 different mesh screens, so you configure it for either a long light bar or a shorter light bar, or use the screen here in the middle, and then you can put pod lights on the ends. The other thing you're really going to notice when you're installing this bumper compared to your stock unit is that this is made from heavy duty 11 gauge steel, and it's got a very durable black powder coat on it that is going to stand up to a lot more punishment in off-road situations or flying debris compared to your stock unit that's got the lot thinner chromed material. Okay, to move forward with our installation, we are going to show you how to install all 5 of these mesh plates. We're not putting any auxiliary lighting on today, so all 5 are going to go on. All right, now to install these 5 plates, we're going to use the included hardware, which includes 14 nuts and bolts. We're going to use a 4mm Allen key and a 10mm wrench. I'm going to finger tighten these down right now, and then I'll go around once we have them all in and use the included Allen key just to tighten everything up. Okay, we're going to put our middle panel in place. It's going to be held in by 6 nuts and bolts. And get those lined up. We're going to leave that loose till now so we get all 6 lined up. Okay, now we have all the panels for our center section in place and all the nuts and bolts to finger tightness. I'm just going to go around with our Allen key and our crescent wrench and tighten everything down. Okay, now we're going to put in this square mesh piece here on the end. These are the brackets that are going to hold that in place, and this bracket up top here is to mount any auxiliary lighting you want to put in here. And if you'll notice, as I've been going through this, with each one of these panels, I'm using the bolt head towards the panel side. That way it keeps a more clean appearance and you're not going to see the bolts sticking out from the outside of the bumper. And we're simply going to repeat that same step on the other side. All right, now I have the driver's side screen we're going to put in place. Maybe snug, maybe loose. This side is a little bit loose, so I'm just going to hold it in place with my fingers. Until we get the nut and the bolt started. And something else I want to show you guys is that this kit includes a license plate bracket, as you can see here, and it mounts to these holes that are up in there. It includes these plastic plugs that your license plate screws into. In our state, we're not required to have a front license plate on our vehicles, so we're not going to install that here today. Okay, the last step before we're going to start mounting our brackets and the bumper is if your truck is equipped with the active air dam like ours is here, we're going to have to remove this first. And the first step to removing this is to disconnect the wiring harness behind the electric motor. To do that, you pull up a locking clip and then you simply unplug the wiring harness. And we'll tuck that up out of the way for now. And to remove the air dam, we have two 13mm nuts on both sides, here and here. Now as I do this last bolt, I'm just using my left hand to hold up against the air dam just so it doesn't fall off. Okay, now how this actually mounts on, guys, is we're gonna put the mounting brackets onto the frame rails first. These are really heavy duty brackets, I gotta tell you. But once we get them up here like this, get your 18mm bolt with a washer on it, and we'll just get it started. I'm gonna hold that on with my left hand. So now that I have the first bolt in, we'll take the other two 18mm bolts with washers. And it should hang like that, and then we'll get our nuts and lock washers and regular washers ready to mount on the backside. For the backside, the kit includes a regular washer, a lock washer, and an 18mm nut. We're going to keep it somewhat loose, so this is adjustable. And we're going to repeat these steps on the driver's side. Like I said, we'll leave that finger tight for now so that we can adjust this as needed once we get the bumper up onto the mounting brackets. Okay guys, now we're going to actually place the bumper on the mounting brackets. This is where a helping hand is going to come in really helpful. I'm going to get below the bumper, and my helper here is going to put it in place so I can start a couple of bolts. All right guys, as you can see, we've already started a couple of our bolts here. I'm just going to show you. We're going to put the last one in on this side. And again, just finger tightness for now until we tighten everything up when it's aligned properly. Okay, at this stage, we've kept everything finger tight, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of play here with the bumper, so you can adjust it. So at this stage, I'm going to put this plastic panel back on so we know exactly how much gap we have to work with. I'll add the bolts in later, but for now, this is so we can line it up properly. All right guys, at this step of the install, I'm going to tighten down the 3 bolts here that are holding the bumper to the mounting bracket. And of course, this is the 16mm socket, and I'm going to have a 16mm wrench to hold the other side. Okay, and we've got 3 more 16mm nuts and bolts here on the driver's side we're going to tighten up right now. So at this stage, we now have the bumper securely attached to the mounting brackets. We still have some play between the mounting brackets and the frame rails. So what we're going to do now is use a floor jack and some wood blocks. We're going to support the underside of the bumper. That's going to allow us to tighten up the bolts and secure the mounting brackets to the frame rails. And as you can see, even with the floor jack, we don't necessarily have a perfect fitment right here. So again, we're gonna call on our helping hand to help us line this up, because we can still make sure that the end of the bumper is meeting nicely to the trim piece. Okay guys, now with the bumper on the truck, one more thing I wanted to point out to you is that not only can you mount lighting inside these meshed areas, you also have the option to add auxiliary lighting to the top of your bumper, where you have mounting points here, here, and on this side as well. All right guys, so that finishes my review and installation of this Armor heavy duty front bumper for all 2019 and later Ram 1500 trucks, with the exception of the TRX and Rebel models. And of course, you can find this bumper and a lot of other great products for your Ram 1500 right here at AmericanTrucks.com.